This is Carmen Smith. I want to describe the human hamster wheel so that people can really understand that we can map out our feelings and our behavior with a simple diagram. Basically, the human hamster wheel starts with the trauma events or the events that happen in our lives that transform our love into fear, makes us more afraid of what's going to happen in the future or that particular event. It also can generalize to people after these events happen. So the trauma events in the book, you'll notice, start out with abandonment, death, things like that. There's significant losses that happen in our life that we react to it by being afraid. And you can see there are feelings after the events. Yes, we will be hurt, but mostly we're scared. And in that situation, when we're hurt and it's not met with compassion and understanding, it turns into anger, rage, and depression. And the example that I used to give when I would lecture is that if my son came in and he's wounded from a bike accident and he scraped his leg, and let's say he's around 7, if I react to his hurt with anger and disgust and with not a lot of patience, then his hurt can transform into anger. If I respond to a person's wound with compassion, sympathy, empathy, and I also try to help them deal with the hurt, then that doesn't turn into anger or depression or guilt. It goes on to have compassion and love for others. So if we respond in a correct way, it does not lead to the power and control reactions. It's only when our hurt turns into anger, rage, shame, and guilt and depression that we have these types of power and control reactions, because we're trying to gain power out of a situation that we've already determined that we're helpless to correct. So then we start having blame, we lie, we begin to have addictions, all the way to the most serious power and control reactions, which is homicide and suicide. So when you see the world reacting in these types of violent, aggressive ways, which sometimes we see that on the news and things like that, we should automatically know that those things come from fear. And they come from fear from traumatized events that have happened in a person's life or in a group or a culture's life, and that's how they've interpreted it through their rage. And so the reactions are very common when we look at this type of dysfunction through the lens of fear. And so fear, just keep in mind, is the ego's way of seeking power and control in a situation that they've already determined they're powerless to change. But remember, there is a solution to this. We don't have to react this way. That's why I created the 5-pointed star. This is a way to transform all that fear and ego into the I am solution. Because everything that you need, love, compassion, everything, power, is within you. So be sure and know that the ego can be changed with the 5-pointed star.